Here we go. Okay, so now we are recording. So here is an official welcome. We're excited to have you here with us. We know that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I'll just tell you a tiny bit about myself. So my name's Amber Sanders, and I've been with Pottery for, it'll be 5 years in June. So time is passing very quickly. It's been a really fun thing to do, and I'm a 3-star vice president. But the really important thing about tonight is the fact that this night is geared towards the breeder community, and it should be very valuable, insightful, because we have very specific people that we have for you to listen to and be able to ask questions as well. But before I do that, I wanted to just share with you, before I introduce our panelists, I wanted to share the Pottery vision with you, just so that you have an idea of what has brought us all together here tonight. But the Pottery vision is to create a world filled with unconditional love where pets and their people thrive. And I want you to think about that just for a couple minutes, but it's filled with unconditional love where pets and people thrive. That's what we're working towards. So we all are here because, we're passionate pet people. We care about pets. We care about their health, their well-being. We want the best for them. So it's a very powerful vision, and it means a lot to a lot of us that are on tonight. And then if this is the first time you've heard it, well, now you know. It's anyway, it's very powerful. So now I would like to introduce our panelists. So first of all, we have with us, and these are all breeders, okay? But we have with us, and Tim, why don't you raise your hand and wave at everybody? But Tim is a 1-star vice president. And he's been with us for, how long has it been now, Tim? About a couple years?
Yeah, just over 2 years.
Okay, yeah, it's been just over 2 years, but he is such an incredible, not only is one of the most caring people I know about, his pets and each one of us in Pottery, but he's also really experienced in Pottery as it is. He's moved along so fast. And a really cool thing about Tim is he's 22 years old, and he's one of our top leaders in the company. So, and he's one of the most supportive people I've ever met as well. So that's a little bit about Tim, just a little bit. We also have Vice President Robin Thomas here with us. And if you don't know Robin yet, she will keep you laughing, but she's also called, I'm going to tell you what one of her nicknames is oh goodness, Robin, it just now escaped me. Midwoof. She's the midwoof. So breeders that know her reach out to her because she loves to share things that work, help people out as they are, if they're experiencing things they just quite don't know what to do. And in the breeder community, you know how that can go. If something goes wrong, it can be really sad and detrimental to you emotionally and financially as well. So Robin helps people with whatever's going on, and she's just such a kind person. But she's also a go-getter too. So everyone on here has really achieved a lot in their Pottery business, and they're here to share with you their successes and experiences. So we also have one of our newest vice presidents, G. Khalsa. And G is a very well-respected breeder out east. She has a great, incredible network. Everybody here does. But she's also, you're going to love to get to know G and her. I don't know, she's got this quiet spunk about her, but man, she knows her stuff. So she's kind of like a resource for lots of details, and she really understands a lot of details about, pet nutrition. And I'm slaughtering it here, actually, G, but she's just an incredible resource. And so I'm excited for you to hear from her. And then Malachi. So Malachi, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Malachi. He is a new pet pro with us. He's only been with us for just over a month. Is that right, Malachi?
That's right.
A month and a half, something like that. And he has already promoted 3 times. He promoted within 7 days of joining us. He hit some records. We have some records some measurements that we have in our company within 10 days. He, I don't remember when Kathleen sent this, but he had over 2,000 in new sales, which is amazing, and has just really been spreading the pottery love everywhere he's gone. So he's a fast mover. We're really excited to have you here, Malachi. Okay, enough about you guys. Hopefully I did justice. I don't think I did. I could go on and on and on, but we need to move on because everyone's here to listen to you. So first of all, what we're hoping this will turn into is just kind of like this nice night where we're they're sharing their experiences. I wish we could all be sitting in a living room together with a fire burning, but this will hopefully turn into just conversations amongst these experienced breeders. And as you have questions, I have a few that I'm going to read. I'm going to ask a question, let you breeders, just take off from here, and then we'll see where this goes. Okay, so the first question I would love for you guys to discuss or talk about is, so what has your pottery experience been like so far? I know some of you, it's going to be different because some of you are newer than others, but what has your experience been like?
I've been on pottery for 18 months. The first 6 months I did nothing. I just wanted it for my dogs. Then I went to PawFest and realized that not only could I make my dogs healthy and my puppies healthy, but I could have a residual income from this. So that's what I did. I went home and built a team.
I had a very similar experience. I tried pottery for the first couple of months, and then I was so happy with the products, I started recommending it and just got into it really quickly. I've been involved for about 8 months, and I wish I had started years earlier. The difference that it makes in my program, both in terms of the health of my dogs and my puppies, and also my business, is incredible. It's helped a lot, in particular with cash flow between litters, which is a big deal to breeders since our cash flow is so unpredictable.
Yeah, it's been probably one of the best experiences of my life for sure. Just even mimicking both of these stories, because I did a similar thing where I got in. I really didn't do a lot at first, but then I started, and I wish I had started way before I did. And it's just been incredible. My dog's health and their litters and everything about the litters it's just incredible to see. And I wish I had started years ago. And then obviously being able to work my way out of my full-time job, that was incredible as well. And that way I can focus more on just my breeding program and, my pottery business. So it's been really amazing for me.
For me, I guess the best word to sum it up has been excitement. And it's not necessarily been a good thing, because several mornings I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning with a new idea. So I haven't been getting much sleep, but sometimes you just get really enthusiastic about something, loving the product, and customers are loving it, and everyone's doing great on it. So, it just keeps on, you can really build the business the way you want to. And so that's why I keep getting woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I've kind of leveled out a little bit with my, doing that. So, yeah, I'm a little more well-rested.
Yeah, we need you to get your sleep, Malachi. You're doing a lot of awesome things.
Well, when you raise puppies for a living, you don't get too much sleep anyways, so used to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work if you're doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
Before we move on, I want to just share something that I forgot to mention at the beginning, but for all of you listening in, we have quite a few participants tonight. And these breeders that you're listening to, they are just sharing out of the goodness of their heart because of all the things that they've experienced. So just so you know, this is opened up to the entire company. This is our first one, as a matter of fact. Hopefully, if this goes well, we can perpetuate this. But they are, and Holly Feather said, hey, thank you all for your time tonight. She mentioned that. But I wanted to just highlight that we're not getting anything from this. This is just, pottery has done some incredible things. And Robin, I would love for you to share a little bit about, there are a few things that come to mind. I would love for you to share, how you go about your breeding, introducing pottery with your customers. You guys it would be great. I think people would love to hear that. Another thing, Malachi, I would love to hear what spurred you to jump in quickly. So be thinking about that. G, I remember you saying, I wish we would have found you 4 years ago. So that would be awesome to hear a little bit about that. And then Tim, same thing. You're like, I wish I would have just gotten started faster. So those are a few things to be thinking in your mind that we would love to hear more about. I think it would be helpful. So Robin, you want to start with how, and everyone else can jump in as well. How have you incorporated pottery into your breeding business?
So before, my females, when they were pregnant, were always having digestive problems, costing me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars going to the vet to try and keep their food down, and so that they had good guts. With Potri, I haven't had any of that, any of the gas problems, any of the diarrhea problems. It's been very nice. I found that comparing the same dams and sires and everything, so the same litters, I get 1 to 2 more puppies per litter since transferring to Potri. I have a steady income from the Potri food, and I introduced, the first year I did it, I just had it on the coffee table, so when the people would come see their puppies, they would see the Potri. I told them how good it was. Many of them went on it. I now have it in my contract that they have to, the first year, feed them Potri, and I give them a 5-year genetic health guarantee. And I have them read through the contract before they ever give me a deposit, so that they, if they want to agree to that or not. And so far, I have not had anyone decide not to get a puppy through me when I tell them they have to feed them Potri for the first year. And then I just know that they're healthy, that they're reaching their full potential, and that's what I want for my dogs. I don't want 6 months after I send them home, them calling me up and saying, my dog has diarrhea, and then finding out that the brand I had them on had been bought out by the bigger guys and they changed the formula. I know it's made in America, sourced in America. We have quality control over the food, and I'm not going to have this problem down the road. So it's a whole trust issue, and that's what us breeders all want about our food, is that we can trust that it's going to do right by our puppies. That's my spiel.
I have to pretty much ditto what Robin said. The consistency and the quality of the product are very important to me. We, over the years, Hari, my mother, and I have been doing this for 30 years, and we changed food. Sometimes it felt like every year, because there was a formula change or something going on, or some reason that the food stopped performing. And I don't feel like we're going to have to do that anymore. We're also experiencing the same thing with the same pairing. We're getting 1 or 2 more puppies per litter, which is really pretty amazing.
Someone's puppy's having a...
Sorry, I'm in a room with a new litter. I'm sorry.
Oh, fun.
If you need to.
Oh no, it's music to our ears, right? Maybe not you breeders, but for us,
No,
we have puppy time all the time.
I'll run and put her on mom, and maybe we'll get quiet. I'll be right back.
So we do have a question before we move on. Hopefully you guys have been thinking about these other things, but Bonnie Brooks wants to know, Robin, did you notice the digestive issues just with the change of Potri food, or was it with the addition of GastroPro Plus? So GastroPro Plus is actually our digestive supplement that helps keep the gut healthy. It has prebiotics, probiotics, digestive herbs, and enzymes, and it's extremely potent. So it's an incredible product.
So when I put my big dogs on Potri, I use the Gastro Plus to transition them. Now I rarely have to give it to my big dogs. Their guts stay good. But as I transition the puppies from weaning to mash to Potri kibble, then I use the Gastro Pro Plus for them, not like just 1 capsule for the whole litter is what I do.
Hopefully that was helpful. Bonnie, if you have more questions, go ahead and let us know. Anyone else want to share about how they have incorporated Potri? Oh yeah, so Bonnie says thank you.
You bet, Bonnie.
Okay, should we move on?
We don't put Potri in our contract, but we do require people to make their first order when they take their puppies home, and we have a pretty good retention rate with that. And we're also getting a lot of customers whose puppies went home on other foods calling us up now and wanting information and switching over, a lot of them spontaneously. Some of them we're reaching out to for other reasons, just for annual checkups and things like that. But we're doing pretty well without having to put it in our contract.
I do something similar. I do have an option in my contract. It's not a requirement, but I do have an option for actually an extended health guarantee. And that's because I know I can keep control of the genetics and everything else is going to the dog, but I can't control the diet unless they choose to do something like that. So that's something I really, really, truly believe in. So if they're going to up, and agree to stay on Quadri for X amount of time, I actually extend my health guarantee. And that's worked really well for me because I know that's, there's so many times when people will feed the crappiest food and then they'll have issues with health, and it's just because of the food. And you can't, I mean, they won't listen to you if you tell them that, but it's what I do, and it really works really well for me. So in my program.
Thank you, Tim. One thing that I wanted to add really quickly is, if you didn't already know this, part of the reason why we're an online and direct sales company only is because Roger, our founder and CEO, wanted to be able to control the quality of the food. So I think, was it G, you that highlighted the fact that things would change? Maybe, I think a couple of you mentioned it, but things would change, and then, it's hard on your business. It's hard on all your litters. This is what I'm hearing. Obviously, I'm not a breeder, so hopefully I'm not misspeaking. And if I am, definitely correct me. But the understanding is breeders and veterinarians and all sorts of people are a little nervous to make changes or promote something all the time. That's one of the things that Patri stands for, is we control our quality because we're not reliant on another company. It's pretty incredible. So you can just rest assured that things aren't going to change. They really aren't. Okay, we're getting some questions. Are you ready for some questions, you guys?
Can I say one thing? Because sometimes breeders think that it will ruin their reputation or take away from their reputation by having them require or really suggest, or we do make money from the Patri that they buy. We have a commission from it. But the health of the dog is the number one issue with us. And I think that's why we push it and really want the puppies on it, because that is one of the things we can control. I mean, we control everything else. If they can do the food, that will really help the dog.
Yeah, and also, how many times as a breeder do you have people asking you for recommendations on products anyways?
Yep.
And how do you know? I mean, for Patri, we kind of know because we can trust our CEO, and I actually personally know him. So I know his promises behind what he's doing. But for these other brands that you recommend, first of all, you're not getting commission off of it. Second of all, they might sell out, like Robin mentioned, and then that's something that changed. And then the people are like, well, you recommended this. So with Patri, we have that, we're going to get a commission off of it, but we also are guaranteed that we know a little bit more about what's going into that product. So it's kind of a win-win for us breeders for sure.
You mind if I build off what Robin said? Because I've had the similar issues with breeders being afraid of what people will think of them if they make a commission off a product they recommend. But when you think about it, every time you go into a vet's office, you're seeing the same brand of dog food. And if you've looked at the news lately, that dog food's got recalled. This is like third time, I think. Puppies getting sick, some even dying, supposedly. And you don't see them taking it off the shelves or anything. But if my puppies were dying or getting sick from pet food, I wouldn't recommend it anymore. That's the most important thing to me. I'm going to get a little emotional because it makes me, that upset. But yeah, nutrition will always come first to me. And that's how it's not going to hurt my reputation anyway. If anything, it makes it better because owners know that that's what I care about. First, always first.
I love that, Malachi. That was, yeah. I think that says a lot right there about you. Are you guys ready for some questions that people have? Okay, so I'm going to start with one just for you, Tim, because she had asked this when you were chatting. But so how long is your health guarantee, and how long do you extend with Patri? Is the first question from Stacy Rains.
So right now I have a 2-year health guarantee for anyone who gets a puppy from me. If they agree to stay and continue Patri, I up it to 3 years. So.
Okay, another question. Tessie Henry is asking, what formula are breeders feeding expectant moms and pups? Great question.
Sweet potatoes.
Same.
We send the puppies home now on chicken and sweet potato, but we rotate our foods for our moms.
I do have one mom that doesn't do chicken. She can't do chicken, so she's on the lamb. Out of my 16 mom dogs.
We're actually on the turkey and sweet potatoes because in our breed there's a thing with chicken, so we actually do the turkey and sweet potato for ours. So
Anyone else? Oh, we have more. Okay. So Jennifer, she just wanted to share something. I have incorporated the Snailed It Chew toy for crate training, which I earned with free with Paw Points. So she's either a customer or a pet pro, and then customers will buy it and transition their puppies to their new home and crates with it. So that's really fun. We have some fun little things you can offer your pets. And then she also says, I have introduced my former puppy buyers who are using my former brand, which is not very palatable, to the paw pairings. I don't need to change their food if it's working, but this will help keep the dogs interested in their food. Yeah, definitely, Jennifer. It's nice to have the paw pairings as an option, especially for people you've already said, hey, this is great food, and and they have some issues. I would love to hear some. Have you guys experienced, I know we are hearing bigger litters being on the pottery food. Is there anything else? I'm thinking of one thing in specific. I'm definitely fishing for something specific. But here's something that I've heard you breeders talk about that I don't quite fully appreciate as much as you do as far as pottery food.
Oops.
Yeah, it's the poop.
Yep.
It's the poop for sure.
Tell us more.
So many of us are home breeders, and no matter how clean you are as a home breeder, when you have a bunch of puppies in your house, it's going to stink you out, and there are going to be times you just don't want to be in your house. But with the pottery food, it's still poop, and they still poop, but there's, first of all, not as much of it, and you just, for some reason, it does not have that foul odor, and it does not run us out of the house anymore. And that's an absolute joy, especially when you wake up in the morning.
It's really easy to clean up too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not splatty.
That would be important to me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'm not saying that they're going to poop gold instead of poop, but it's a lot.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's a great question from Charlie. How do you approach a breeder to switch their program? We're getting quite a few questions, so let's kind of see if we can get through these. How do you approach a breeder to switch their program? That's a great question because, you guys are those people. You finally switched your program. How do you do that? What made you decide to do that?
So I'm an if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of person. So if I'm talking to a breeder and they are on something and everything is absolutely perfect, I don't tell them that they should switch because, what if they switched and things went wrong, then that would be on me, and that's just not the right thing to do. But if I talk to somebody, I ask them what's going on. I ask them, do they have poop issues? Do they have issues with palatability once the puppies go home? Are their moms recovering as fast as they should be after whelping? Are the puppies' coats nice and shiny and slick? And, I just start asking them and finding out things and whether or not there are points where they could see an improvement. I also talk about money. As breeders, there's a big stigma about talking about money. But, I'm a professional, and I think it's okay for me to want to be financially solvent. And having pottery allows me to have healthy puppies and also helps keep me financially solvent, which is important to keeping my program going. And it does help with cash flow. It makes a big difference.
Well said, G. Anyone else?
I'm still learning how to talk to other breeders because it seems like, how do you say? I think a lot of breeders aren't open to change. I don't even know really the reason because, I'm always willing to hear out somebody, hear something new, something better. And, a lot of the breeders I've spoken to aren't feeding, like raw feeding or doing dehydrated foods or anything like that. I've talked to a lot of Purina, Iams, foods that I would never give my dog. So, I'm still trying to figure out how to talk to people about nutrition, but you know, as I get more experience and see, you know, more results in my own puppies and adults, you know, I plan on using, you know, on testimonials as hopefully the most encouraging way to have other breeders join.
Well, I think it's hard for breeders to switch foods. It's a big deal. It's not just like taking Fluffy the pet, not that there's anything wrong with Fluffy the pet, but and switching a food for Fluffy, you're switching the whole program, and you're switching puppies, and you're sending puppies home on a food. So you really have to be a lot more comfortable with it than the average pet owner, because it's a bigger deal and it's reflecting on your reputation as a breeder. So as much as I wish that I personally had started faster with the company, I'm glad that I took the time to use the products myself and get to know them. And that's what I encourage new breeders to do. I just tell people, if you're interested in pottery, order some of the products. There's a happiness guarantee. So if you don't like them, you can return them and see if you like them. And if they work for you, then go with them. And if they don't, then return them and find something else that works better for you.
And Malachi, to make you feel better, I turned down pottery for a year and a half before I actually joined.
Oh yeah.
Dang it.
What made you guys decide to change your minds, though?
Another poo incident.
What do you mean?
The brand I send everyone home with changed. I got all these calls. My dog, I had $1,000 in vet bills for bad guts, that she wouldn't hold down food and had diarrhea so bad. And I'd had it.
So how has pottery changed? Have you seen a difference in vet bills and that kind of stuff in your business?
Can I talk actual money and what it did for my?
You're welcome to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Last year with between the vet bills I didn't have this year, and the increase in puppies, and not having to pay for my dog food because I earned enough commission to pay for it, I saved my dog company saved $18,600. That was money I didn't have to spend, or it increased. So that was a big portion of that was vet bills too. The only time I go to vets now, well, besides reproduction stuff, is for their booster shots. Pretty much, and to have them spayed when they're retired. That's the only time I'm at the vet now. Sorry.
I know, that's like every breeders should be jumping up and down for joy with that one, huh?
Yeah.
We have quite a few questions. Do you mind if I kind of go over some things that have been shared? Can you guys see the question and answer box? You cannot.
Oh, yeah.
You can, Tim?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what's going on. So we're not trying to ignore you. Just want to keep the conversation going.
Okay.
So then it means I don't need to read the ones that are just statements. Is that correct? Yes?
I can answer Natalie's question. She asked, have you noticed any change in conception rate or ease of delivery? Yes. So since I've been on pottery, the only miss I have is from the guardian that just wouldn't put her dog on pottery. Now all my guardians have to. And so now she's seen that maybe she was right. I also have one other guardian that didn't do it, and that dog had less puppies than she had previously when she was on pottery, because the guardian decided she just couldn't afford it. And then she had less puppies. Now we don't let any exceptions. The recovery from pregnancy is really fast, and they don't blow their coat. So they don't look all shaggy and mangy.
So it sounds like the nutrition density, something about the formula definitely makes a difference.
We're seeing the same thing, especially whelping has been really wonderful so far. I don't want to jinx myself, but whelping seems to be a little bit easier for them. And then the recoveries have been amazing. They're recovering faster. There's a lot less blood and discharge after pregnancy, and they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Our big problem now is moms getting fat, because we usually will load them up with food, and we can't quite give them as much food anymore because they're doing so well with no blown coats and gaining weight while they're nursing. Just amazing.
this last pregnancy, I didn't have to add satin balls to their diet to keep weight on. They kept weight on while they were pregnant. And someone else asked about or Stacy mentioned about the puppy size, that she's a breeder and she has noticed double sacks and fatter puppies. And my increased weight in my puppies was 1 to 2 ounces per puppy with bigger litters. So that's saying something.
Okay, let's go through some of these questions. I feel like I want to clean this up really quickly. So my customers are balking at buying 3 items. Do you have that problem? That's from Stacy Rains. But she also, before we answer that, she did say benefits for me of the Patri food, double sacks and fat pups at birth. So you guys know what that means, and I don't. And I'm just going to dismiss this now that everyone knows. But let's talk about the balking at buying 3 items. So Stacy, I'm assuming you're saying, okay, let's get you free shipping or something like that. Is that correct? So how do you breeders, what do you recommend, and how are you doing that?
So I'll tell you what I do. I really focus on, I'm a big person to focus on the paw pairings because I believe in them 100%. So I actually focus on the paw pairings before I even talk about the food technically. And then I'm like, you know what, since you're already getting a 3 for $30, you might as well add in the food and it's going to ship for free. So that's what I always do. And if you kind of know what your dogs are going to end up eating, you can kind of set that out, so they don't have to order every month, because if you have a smaller dog, it might be every 3 months or whatever. And you can just tell them, every order, that's the 3 for $30, obviously it'll be $45 for the second time and third time, etc. But that's kind of what I do, and everyone does that. Everyone that buys from me always adds the paw pairings, and it ships for free. And some of them will add other things like the puppy kit and different other things at different times. But the paw pairings is like my first focus, and that works really well for me anyways.
A lot of my customers, they start nesting once the parents breed. So the puppies aren't even due for 2 months, and they're already buying dog beds, dog toys, everything. And so, it's just part of they're especially that first order, they're already going to want to buy so much stuff. And poultry, that's the good thing about them. They have so much variety. You can get toys, bowls, me personally, I like my clients to go, puppy owners to go home with Seminole, because we have long-haired dogs. And I haven't been on it very long, but I mean, you're already seeing great results from that thicker coats. Sometimes a mom, after the litter, she'll shed her coat, and you can see her skin sometimes, thin coats. So far, it's been super thick, and we haven't had that problem. But Seminole, at least 1 bottle of the paw pairing. Sometimes they'll do 3 for $30. And then also a bag of treats, because everybody, they want treats for their new puppy, and our treats are amazing, compared to a lot of the competition and what I've used before. The limited ingredients, 2 to 4 ingredients, freeze-dried treats. I mean, so far all my customers haven't had any problem at all with 3 extra items. I think you just have to introduce them to them. Just let them know it's actually what they are.
We've started recommending there are 2 puppy kits. We've started recommending that they get 1 of them, and that comes with free shipping because it has more than 3 items in it. And we just explain to people that once they have their easy ship set up, even if they don't add the 3 items for free shipping, they still get a shipping discount, and that seems to be working for us. People like the puppy kits.
Yeah. What I've taught my customers, that if they order the extra large, which is 3 10-pound bags, you're almost getting 1 bag for free. So then do 3 other things to give it your free shipping, and order every 3 months. So it's a large order, but it covers, because my dogs go through about a bag a whole month, or like a month and 6 weeks. So that introduces. I also, when I was beginning, I would offer them $100 off the price of the puppy if they spend $100 on Patri.
I think everyone's taking all the information in. Hopefully we're taking notes. So we have a bunch of questions still. And you guys, I don't know what you can see on your end. Hopefully you can see all of it. But if I dismiss it, it's because it's like a comment, and I'm trying to make sure I can sort through and keep you all these organized. So let's see. We talked about the 3. Have you noticed, we answered Natalie's question. Let's see, Billy. Billy has a great question. Have any of you had buyers start the urinary support? Can you read this? Do I need to read this out loud? To help strengthen the bladder and prevent UTIs. My holistic vet recommends a similar product that they carry, saying puppy food it has so much protein, it's hard for puppies to process. So urinary support helps prevent the UTIs. And it sounds like there's similar products. So any thoughts or experience with those?
I only put my puppies on it, or my big dogs, if they actually have a UTI. Have them wait to see that they have it first before they start treating them for it. But it does prevent, because I had a Bernedoodle that had UTIs and we got rid of those. She hasn't had another one since we started on the bladder support.
But no opinions as far as putting puppies on it because of their puppy food.
I don't think ours has too high of a protein amount.
No, I don't think it does either. And we were seeing quite a few puppy UTIs when the puppies went home previous to Patri, and this is just anecdotal, but since we've been on Patri, we haven't had one report of puppy UTIs.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And I think the protein level is perfect for them. And I do agree that puppy foods tend to have too much protein, and that could definitely be a problem.
Okay. Let's move on to, has anyone noticed a change in those issues with their own small breed dames? So her Chihuahua had a first litter and it was 5 pups, large litter for small breed. So we've been really concerned about eclampsia with her.
With eclampsia, you treat it with calcium. We don't sell calcium, but you can get it online. Doc Roy's bone crystals or the tablets. That will help with eclampsia. And they should be giving that the whole time she's nursing.
But not before whelping.
Not before whelping.
Okay, what about Tessie? Let's talk about Tessie's question. Do any of you send a puppy starter kit home and build it into your price?
We have them order the preset puppy starter kits that Patri has. So I think the small one, I don't remember the exact contents. They both use the chicken and sweet potato food, and I don't remember the exact things, but I know that the bigger option, the more expensive option, has everything we recommend people get when they go home. So, but people buy both of them. They'll buy one or the other. And we haven't had anybody not want to buy them. We don't send home much with our puppies anymore. We used to send home food and treats and everything like that, and now we switched to asking people to purchase it from Patri and be Patri customers, and we haven't had any pushback on that.
Yeah. I put some of the samples in it, the treat samples and maybe the paw pairing samples.
It's supposed to be in the works for us to be able to create custom bundles soon, right? Okay, so that'll help a whole lot. That way you can just give the customer one link instead of having to, go throughout various ones. But another tip that I've started doing is I'll have some customers that they only order the dog food or something like that. Then I'll give them treat samples and seasoning samples. So that way, it doesn't cost me a lot and it exposes them to the new product kind of thing. And you get a good thing with Paltry is you get paw points and sample credits so that your samples aren't actually costing you anything, just things you earn over time. And it's a great way to get the product out there.
I also send a strip of Gastro Pro Plus because sometimes puppies get stressed when they go home to a new environment, and recommend that they give half a capsule like every other day if the dog starts to have a little bit of runs or anything. Rarely have people had to use it. Only when their kids feed them something they're not supposed to do we have problems usually.
We call that puppy Imodium.
Yeah.
It really does help if they get into something in the yard. It's an important go home item. It's a great idea, Robin.
So what does an ideal starter kit look like to you? What do you recommend when you're talking to your, what is a must have besides the food? Is there anything else?
Gastro Pro Plus.
Okay.
I like the salmon oil. The poop bags are nice. They're sturdy. They do not break open as you handle the poo, which is nice.
Urine eliminator.
Yes.
great urine eliminator. I wanna promote that for a minute, because I've tried just about every brand that's out there, and I found that, I won't mention any brand names, but some of the more popular brands leave a residue on the floor and then it gets all over the puppies. And ours does not leave a residue, and it really works. And it's not overly scented. We're sensitive in our house to scents, and it doesn't send us screaming away with headaches. So definitely.
And I use that in our laundry. I put it in where the bleach thing goes in mine. And then all the bedding smells much better.
Yeah, it's an enzymatic cleaner. So it breaks down the protein in the urine. So it's an incredible product. I love that one too. Any of you use the OxyShot as well?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
That does the stains.
Yeah, we've just started trying it.
I ordered it, but didn't get it in, and a puppy vomited in my car 2 days ago. So I was looking for it, didn't have it yet, but you know.
Bummer. You might have to use it.
Yeah,
Even use it a little later. It'll still help.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carly. Sorry, Carly. Can't read. So we own 11 American Bullies. They're all going to be huge. It takes a ton of food to feed them. How do you suggest a breeder to order that much food at once? Robin, tell us about your volume of food that you've been going through with your.
Yeah, when I have my 4 big dogs, and some of them are nursing, I have all the puppies, I'm going through a bag of dog food a day. But when I had the old dog food I did so much more, and had to pay the pooper scooper boy the neighbor boy who comes in so much. And now on the pottery, they eat a lot less. And they poo a lot less, and so I'm saving on the food, and I'm saving on the pooper scooper boy.
So I'm going to just jump on top of what Robin said. I agree that they eat a lot less depending on the dog. They'll eat 25 to 40% less of this than any of the other premium foods we fed. So our small standards, for example, on another premium food, we're eating 4 cups, and they're eating 2 to 2.5 of pottery and doing very well on it. Also, you have to factor in some other things. So when you buy the extra large bags, you do get a third off. And then also, if you're including as a breeder, you're likely going to be a pet pro, so you're getting your commission. So you're basically getting anywhere from 10 to 35% back on your food, depending on what your sales are like. Mm-hmm. So you can factor that into the cost as well, and that's a big dent in the food. And if you do, a detailed analysis of what it costs, which I have done. It's pennies difference. It's nothing significant.
Thank you, G.
It is a hard mental hurdle to get over at first, though. I totally understand that. That's a hard one to get over.
Yeah, we're hearing a little bit of, okay, I spent this much this month. Anyway, yeah, I think we all go through that until you experience it. And really that's the best thing to do, is experience it. And then you understand. And I feed half of what I was feeding before. It's amazing. And that's just with my dogs, obviously. So it's a little bit different. I can only imagine you that own multiple dogs. And I do have 2, even more than that. Okay, let's talk about, so I want to move on. Would you, and we'll come back to some of these questions, but we really want to keep this to an hour only. I knew this was going to have a lot of information for everybody to draw from, but so we're hearing, okay, I spent this much this month. I want to hurry and go through these really quickly. Is there a possibility of expedited shipping for breeders in less extravagant packaging? That's really interesting that you mentioned that, Tessie. I actually heard from someone else today. They're like, oh my gosh, the packaging's amazing. It's darling, but it's a lot. And really what we've found is the packaging actually supports the box and actually keeps the product safe. So it's cute, but there's also a function behind it as well. So keep that in mind. I would say the only thing that maybe isn't as functional as maybe the cute wrapping around it, but that probably holds it all in place as well. So anyway, I don't know, Stacy, what you're saying yes to, but but that's kind of the answer to that. We brought that up, and then they thought, okay, well, let's let's try to not send this packaging. And we got, oh my gosh, my stuff was smashed and all sorts of things. So be grateful for the extra packaging. Use it as a breeder. I've seen some breeders, and you guys can add to this. They use it as they'll lay the cardboard down, and the puppies can use that to play on. It'll absorb some things. It's kind of a barrier they've used it for. I've seen some people use it to like as a wall of some sort to like separate a puppy or something like that. So maybe you can be creative with that extra packaging as
You can
well.
also use it as a weed barrier in your garden.
Oh, there you go. Lots of uses. My daughter plays with them and makes houses with them. So anyway, there's another little something. Let's see. Thoughts on fiber for puppies? That's one question. Calcium supplement. Do you ever see a need for calcium supplement? Robin, you might have answered that.
Now, when they're nursing, they need it. We don't provide a calcium supplement, but they need it. The mom dogs need it while they're nursing
Okay.
And
and delivering after the first pup.
Okay, let's see.
The dogs have plenty of fiber in that food. Their poo is perfect.
So I'm wondering if the fiber question, you might want to say, what are your thoughts about fiber for puppies? Are you adding extra fiber? Maybe clarify a little bit so we know exactly what you're looking for. But let's talk a little bit about the 35%. I want to talk about that because that is really key as far as why we want to reach out to as many breeders as possible. G touched on, well, and many of you have already touched on, staying financially solvent is how G perfectly put that. And one thing, this is a new commission base that we have built in to our compensation plan. So many of you are recommending products to different people, and I can guarantee a lot of those products, some you might get some sort of benefit like puppy packs or maybe a discount on food. But I'm sure there are plenty of products you're recommending and not getting anything from that. Well, the thing that's really exciting about our new compensation plan, if you decide, or if you are already using Pottery, you can recommend Pottery and easily get 35% back. And that's quite a bit. That can make a big difference to a breeder in their business, especially Stacy, you're talking about, oh my gosh, I spent $1,100 this month. Well, you can get a lot of that back. So that's really exciting. And then as your puppies, I talk to breeders and they say, I sell the puppy and then that's where it stops a lot of times. Well, this is incredible because for the life of the pet, you can see a residual income that keeps coming back to you for recommending. And then another thing, I've heard one breeder, she's not on this right now, but she said, I noticed that somebody stopped ordering and I was able to call and they were dealing with some things. And you can kind of keep track on all those puppy buyers out there that you want to maintain those relationships. I've also heard a lot of breeders say, if I have a great relationship with my puppy buyers, they often will come back. Robin, I remember you mentioned this the other night. We'll come back and get another puppy, or they'll recommend their friend to me. So it's really, the thing that I am finding or hearing is that breeders, they're maintaining relationships with their customers. Their customers and puppy buyers are really pleased with the fact that the breeder, we care about the health of their pet. We're hearing, well, of course they're going to purchase the food because they're paying this much for a puppy up front. So there are all sorts of things that we're seeing. So do you have any feedback that you can share with have you seen, we actually get to watch what commission changes we've had. If you become a pet pro, a breeder, a Pottery pet pro that is a breeder, or any Pottery pet pro for that matter, you can actually watch, okay, well, what are my commissions? What am I earning from these puppies that I have raised and so carefully placed in homes? You can actually watch and see how much you're earning. So my question for you breeders, have you seen a change in your paycheck just this month? What is the difference? What are you expecting to see? And what are you seeing with this new change?
I'll start. A funny story is Kathleen is my mentor, and I told her, I love the product and everything, and I have this certain goal of how much I would like to make every month, and I'm going to give myself 12 months to reach that goal. Well, 18 days after starting Pottery, I already met that goal. So I was like, all right, Kathleen, it's not good enough, And so now, set a new goal, and I'll be there probably by next month. So, it's a company. I mean, it's very easy to grow with. Any breeder that, like I'm always going to say, the nutrition is first to me. But, the side income, I mean, it's a tremendous amount you would never expect. 35%. And I average, around 100 puppies a year. And my average order these customers are placing, about every 4 to 6 weeks is over $100. I have some customers that are happily spending $250, $300. They love the stuff. And it's even stuff I didn't ask or didn't even tell them about. They just like, and getting, 35% off a $300 order. I woke up one day and I had $100 in my pocket that I never would have had, just from one order. And so, I mean, it's been great to me. And the thing is, I've only had, 15 or so puppies go home in this past month. And, it's just something that's going to continue to build year over year over year. And, you can really make, I've asked people before, like, where's the limit? What's the most you would be able to make? And, everyone says there is none. So, yeah.
Yeah, the new commission plan is making a big difference. We get an average first order of about $250. So if you're sending home a litter of puppies and you're getting an extra $250 in their food, you get a third of that back, and that does make a big difference, for sure. I'm seeing. I guess commissions are close to doubling, because our top rate before was 20% and now it's up to 35%. And, in a month you send home a litter, it's absolutely no extra work to get right up to that 35%.
I'm seeing my paychecks be back to when I was getting the bonuses for promoting. So that's nice.
That is nice. Hey,
I make more than I spend on my food now. That's always nice.
yeah, when you have that many dogs, that's a big deal.
Can I comment on something that's breeder specific and also about commissions? A big deal to a lot of people in a direct sales is finding new people to talk to. But as breeders, the longer you've been in business, the more of a list you have of people you can talk to. And we don't call up families and try to sell them dog food, but we have started going back to our list of previous buyers before Patri and just doing a check-in call. And we call them and say, hey, how are things going? What's going on? Oh, well, everything's great, but Fluffy had an ear infection this week and we're not sure what to do. And then all we say is, would you like me to suggest a product for that? And, of course they say, yes, that would be great. And then we suggest the ear cleaner or whatever's going on. So we have a list and we have people who already trust us. We already have a relationship with. So you just need to call and talk to them and find out if you can help them. And if you can help them, send them a link, and it helps both of you. And you're also staying in touch with your puppy families and finding out what's going on. So it's important for your program anyway. So it accomplishes so many things to reach out.
And one thing I'm thinking of, because I'm over 50, that in about 10 years I'll be retiring, I would still like to be making money. I'll sell my business if I find someone that will do do it like how I want it done. But then you don't really have a retirement when you're a breeder. But this way, you'll have residual income.
That's a fabulous point. I like it.
So we don't have a lot of time left. So I was wondering if you could give anyone a tip, any breeders out there that are either just getting started or thinking about joining Patri and taking advantage of what Patri has to offer, not only for themselves, but especially for their dogs. What would that tip be? What do you wish someone would have said to you? Maybe some of these things will kind of get you thinking.
Don't let fear hold you back.
For me, it's just try the products. Just try them. And then you'll see why we are very happy with them and why we've invested ourselves in the company in more ways than one, because the products really are wonderful. And it's not hard to sell them. Just try it. Because try them. That's all I tell people. It's
Money
also,
back guarantee.
yeah,
Money
it's
back guarantee.
It's risk-free. Try them. You don't like them, send them back.
Oh, and what do you think about the support? You know, you have clients that may have an issue. Our support is incredible. Yeah. They
And
help you.
all of us breeders talk to each other.
Yeah.
We might not even be on the same team per se, but we are. We're all on the pottery team.
And what do you, you're not the only person that's helping take care of your puppy buyer, you know, your puppy buyers. If pottery is involved, it's pretty incredible. Tim, we haven't heard much from you.
I would second what G said. Just try those products because it really is incredible. And that's what I did, you know, when I started. It was just the products, and the same as Malachi was saying with the salmon oil, because we have a northern breed. So it was an incredible change in their coats and their skin and just the overall health. But I would say just try it and, you know, trust whoever told you about this. And it really is incredible. And just being a breeder, I don't see as a breeder, I almost think it's like when I'm thinking about breeders, I'm like, it's crazy if they don't want to do something like this because it's just so rewarding. So it's just one of those things that I wish I had started way before I did. So.
Yeah, that's helpful. So to take us all out, because we have 3 minutes, if you felt like this was helpful in any way, and Mandy, I see that you have your hand raised. So maybe you can't type, but we'd love to know what you would like to say before we get off. But if you felt like this was helpful and you think that it would be helpful to maybe do something like this once a month, I don't think it's something we can do every week. Pulling a panel like this together, but we do have other successful breeders as well we could hear from. If you feel like this was helpful, that you would like to invite other people that this may be advantageous for them, or it was helpful for you to get started, and you know somebody else that's getting started, any of those scenarios, and there are others. If you feel like this was valuable, let us know. Type it in the comments. And if it wasn't valuable, that's okay. Maybe don't say that, but but I feel like we had a lot of awesome input. There were still some questions we did not get. Oh, so here we have a Maine Coon breeder. So maybe we need to incorporate some cat things. That would be great. If you're a Maine Coon breeder and you're a pottery pet pro, you might be the next person that we really need to hear from. Okay, so once a month.
Maybe we can include Heather Gibson.
Yes, Heather.
Does cats.
Yes, definitely. So we have all sorts of things that we can do, but really the idea behind this is to just help get the word out what pottery can do for you breeder specific, the crowd out there, because there's a lot of you. And the thing that I love the most when I talk to the breeders like yourselves is the fact that you care so much about your pets. We know that there are some people out there that don't take quite as, you know, they might do things a little differently than the people you've heard from tonight. But the thing that we found is if they join pottery, they either change and adopt our ways, or they weed themselves out. And that can be a hard that can be a hard road for them, because the people here are really kind. They're giving. Like I said, the people that are with us tonight have given us their time and their expertise just because they want to share the word and help everybody out there. So Emily's saying yes to cats. I'm so glad this was helpful. All of these comments are so helpful. So if this is something you want to do, we will plan on maybe doing it the second or third Tuesday of every month. So we'll get word out there. If there's anything that you would like included that wasn't tonight, this is our first run. We kind of are just shooting from the hip here. But knowing that we have the expertise that we can draw from, these can be incredible. And I am thinking that you don't need me here. We'll probably have one of the breeders facilitate these. I don't have a lot to offer. I mean, I talked to a lot of you, but anyway, we have been well taught tonight. So thank you all. If you didn't get your answers, the answers you were looking for tonight, definitely reach out to your upline. We have all the resources you're looking for. I can guarantee it. And hopefully we'll see you all in about a month. Okay? Sound good? Thank you. Thank you. Have a great night and a great week. Talk to you later.